Hi, it's Lindsay. Welcome back again for another workout. We're going to be doing a strength training and 4x5 set again. Let's go through our strength training exercises first, and then we're going to roll through the workout together. So our first is going to be a side lunge to squat. So before we do our side lunge, let's talk about the squat for just a moment. Because it is a lot of joint action, knees, 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 and sometimes people just this is what they think a squat is. That's called bending over. It's very different than a squat. A squat is meant to expose and open up the glutes. So my glutes are open super wide. They're spread, right? From here, I'm going to do a Kegel. I'm going to pull and squeeze my glutes, drive through my heels, and then I'm going to rise back up again. So I could do this up and down all day and feel my hip flexors, my psoas get tighter and tighter and tighter, and never actually utilize this biggest part of my body, my glute. So we want to take time to slow down and listen and see if the glute is firing. So we're going to be doing a side lunge, opening up. The extended leg is going to be bent. The trailing leg is straight. A beautiful stretch to our inner thigh. And then we're going to squat. From here, I'm going to do my Kegel. I'm going to squeeze. I'm going to drive through my heels and come back up again. Other side, trailing leg is straight. Leading leg is bent, inner thigh is working, push off, squat, squeeze those glutes, gently rise back up. If we're not careful, that lovely S word, speed, is going to take over, and your mindset, the faster you move, the better it is. There are some cases where that's true. Strength training is typically not one of them. The slower you go, the longer time under tension you have, the more effective the workout. What you're looking for is a conversation with my glutes every time. And if I offer movement without a conversation and I ignore my glutes, over time, my glutes begin to ignore me. And then we have a problem. So take time. Listen, okay? You got one more on each side. Great. Perfect. Awesome. That's our first strength training followed by a 4x5. The next strength training exercise is going to be a tricep dip. You want to find a range of motion that's going to be challenging and supportive at the same time. The tricep and bicep are antagonistic. They work together. So the bicep obviously is the front of the body and the tricep is the back of the body. So when the bicep is working and it's flexed, the tricep is at rest. When the tricep's in extension and working, the bicep is at rest. So think about that as we do our tricep dips. We're going to set up so that our hands are right underneath our bum. We don't want to be too far and put pressure on our shoulders. Right under our bum, fingertips are facing away from the body. So I'm going to begin in a tabletop position. So from here, things that can happen. You can suddenly lose your neck. And suddenly your ears and your shoulder are one thing. This is dumping in the shoulder. It's a lot of pressure on my shoulder and my neck. I want to push away. I want to lift my heart up. In this position, this is a weight-bearing tricep extension. My body weight is being held through my triceps because my arms are in extension. When I bend the arms, my biceps are working here. As I extend my arms, my triceps are working. Now, if I stay in this range, people think that they're working their triceps. They're actually just priming their bicep. Without extension, you can't get your tricep to fire. So the most important part is the lift. It's not how low you go. It's how strong and how long you can stay in the extension. So let's think about that together and do 12, okay? 10 to 12. This is a great place to start. If you have done this before and you feel comfortable and you're warm, you can always take the legs in extension. You can always stack. You could have one leg. There's lots of options. I'm going to stay right here. So my pelvis is pressing up. I'm going to drop down, bend my elbows. Then I'm going to press away and hold on top. Time under tension. We just talked about that. What kind of conversation are you having? Are you shutting your triceps down? Are you telling them just to go short and get done with it? No. Lengthen the conversation. It just happens a few minutes at a time, a few reps at a time. Very good. Making sure we're pressing away. We're not dumping and dipping into our shoulders. Very good. Every breath. Shh. We've got 2 more. Nice job. Oh, that burns. It feels so good. Last one on top. Nice. And push those hips back. Then we're going to do our 4x5. Our last strength training exercise is going to be rainbow hips. I think the most effective way to do the rainbow hips is from the forearms. And I think you're going to actually appreciate that since we just came from extension on the tricep dips. So let's come down to a plank position and take our hands below our chest. Our elbows are pressing away from the earth. I'm lifting through my chest versus dumping through my chest, okay? Push away. I'm going to drop my hips from side. This is creating a beautiful length here as I open up, and each hip touches every time. It's a beautiful stretch. It's also fantastic work. We can do the same thing from the toes. This is why it's called a rainbow. Here's one pot of gold, up and over. Here's another pot of gold. Now, you've probably seen this kind of stuff happen before. That's just a dog wagging its tail, okay? Don't wag your tail. Find your pot of gold up and over every time, as if there were a little flame on the floor and you don't want to touch it. I've been known to crawl under people in class right here to make sure they're getting nice and tall, pushing away with their elbows, creating a beautiful tall structure, up and over. Very good. Ooh. Yeah, my brain says, hey, could you go faster so we could get out of here? And I have to remind myself that I want to be here. I want to get better. If I do get fatigued and tired and my form is falling apart, just step back for a second. Step back for a second. It's better to have proper form and take a minute and then jump back in than then just finish it, because then you're reinforcing that your ego is your amigo, and it's not, okay? I still had 4 more. I'm being honest. 4. 3. Up and over. How tall can you go? 2. And last time, 1. Very good. And then we offer our 4x5. Okay, so we went our side lunge to squat. We did our tricep dips, and we did our rainbow hips. So our 4x5 is going to be push-ups, which is first. As we progress through our push-ups, just be kind, be generous. Start with the lowest progression. Once you feel warm, then you can bump it right up. You have frequency and fluidity to move anywhere you need to during your push-up progression. Just a reminder, we can start from our toes, making sure we have chest expansion. From our knees. I'm so sorry. We can start from our knees. We can move to our toes, to our knees. Third is knees to toes. And final is toes to toes. Okay, so we're going to do 5 push-ups. Then we have our gate swings. Gate swings are also going to encourage your adductors or inner thighs to fire as well. So we're looking for, listen to the speeding, the timing of this, the speed. So it's out, in, out, in, out. Hands can be in prayer. Now, could you push single leg? Absolutely. You would just eliminate the plyometric. Still that same syncopation, slow, quick, slow. We then have a lateral jump. So we've done a speed skater. We touch behind. This one, we're going to hopefully land in a squat position. So we come up, squat, 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 squat. If you feel comfortable there, very good. Okay, our last 4x5 movement is going to be a downward dog toe touch. So let's begin in a plank position, either from our knees or from our toes. From here, we're going to press back into a downward dog. So our toes tuck under, and then we're going to simply rise up. Okay, now, if you look, some people think that to do a downward dog, your legs have to be totally straight. The purpose of the downward dog is to tilt the tailbone to the sky, okay? So I have to have a lot of flexion in my knees to feel that. Because I have tight hamstrings and tight hips. So you have to pay attention and listen. I'm looking at my belly button. We're going to stay here for just one moment. Okay, so once we have our downward dog, we're then going to take our right hand and reach for our left foot or the mat or the ankle. We come back again. We touch the other side. We come back to that plank, whatever our plank looked like. Reset. Toes tuck under. Downward dog. Reach and touch. Reach and touch. If you're coming from the toes, you would come to a high plank position. And then again, pressing back. Very good. Reach and touch. Very good. And back to that plank position. We have 5 of those. So just to recap our workout for today, it's a 4x5 with 3 strength training exercises. Our strength training exercises are our side lunge to our squat. One really important cue is to do that Kegel in our squat position and drive with the heels up. Take as much time as you can in that squat. We then have our tricep dips, remembering that flexion leads to extension, and that's when the triceps working. And finally, our rainbow hips, that flame under our belly to go up and over. In between every strength training set, we have our 4x5s, our push-ups, our gate swings, our lateral jumps, and then our plank to downward dog toe touch. I'm hoping that we can do 2 to 3 rounds today. Again, if you're running out of time in that last round, pick the one that challenges you the very, very most. We're looking for progression. We're also just looking for patience, because we know every workout that we get gets us to that next step, that next piece of the puzzle. I'm so happy for you. See you next time.